And yes, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the new episode of Cloud Lunch and Learn. Tonight we have two guests, if I may say like that. Yeah, Elkan is with us as a guest, if I may call it like that. But also we have our special guest tonight, which is Rodrigo. Rodrigo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Martins.
Nice. How are
Yes,
you?
I'm fine. And you guys?
Yeah, doing good, doing good. Elkan.
yes.
Yeah,
Thank you. Welcome, Rodrigo, to the studio. Thank you, Martin, for introduction. So we'll have another energetic session today. As you know, the topic's about Dynamics 365 sales. I believe it's probably a topic that you can't find too much presentations or so because kind of niche in its category. But we have solution architect and we have a data specialist here. Rodrigo from Paris, right? So he's joining us from Paris, France. So if you know some French, you can always, give some special greetings on our chat here in comments. Rodrigo will catch it also. Please, only good words there. And, we are excited to have Rodrigo here. And
Indeed.
welcome to the studio, Rodrigo. Anything that you would like to say to our learners here, to the audience, Rodrigo?
yeah. So thank you, Martin. Thank you for the invitation. And as you say, I'm living in Paris. I'm a cloud architect. Most of the time, I work on what we can call enterprise solutions. I mean, ERP, CRM, and also a data specialist. That's why I take this subject to present in this session. But we'll talk about data mesh. As you say, it's a niche, but it's something can be useful when you have to define an architecture.
That's amazing.
Awesome. That's great. Without any overdue, giving back to Martin. So Martin, drive the session. Let's bring
Indeed.
the slides. Yep, back to you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for both. Yeah, Rodrigo, thank you one more time. Basically, it's pleasure having you here, and I would say the stage is yours. So you can basically, indeed, I will bring it now. So here it is. Rodrigo, feel free.
Okay, thank you. I
Yeah,
think you see my screen as I see it. So you can consider that everything it's okay. So
yeah.
the subject of today is building a data mesh architecture for Dynamic 365 sales. And we will leverage on Microsoft Fabric. I know maybe most of you don't know Microsoft Fabric, maybe some also don't know Dynamic 365 Cell. So in this presentation, I will try to go in three parts. The first part will be to define to define what is a data mesh architecture or a data mesh paradigm. We will also define what is Dynamic 365 sales. Maybe some of you know that it's Microsoft CRM. We will also talk briefly about Microsoft Fabric, that is the no Microsoft data platform. After define all the solutions, sorry, after define all the solution, we will go in our live demo. So the session will be divided in three parts. The first one is a kind of an introduction to data mesh. The second one, it's an overview of Dynamic 365 Sales and Microsoft Fabric. And the last part will be the demo. I hope the demo will not go wrong because it's something I didn't test before this session. So I cross my finger. If you have any question, don't hesitate. You can stop me. I will be very happy to respond any of your question. So let's start. As I say about myself, I'm an enterprise architect. I work on CRM. I have some certification, TOGAF, data Dembot. So that's why I have to talk with the session. But most important, I'm passionate about monitoring, architectural modeling, and data governance. So this is who I am. So to start, what is a data mesh? Uh, what I will do is try to take some example to make you understand every concept we will talk about during this session. So I will not define data mesh, but I will just take a quick example. If you can see my screen on the right, we have in a farmer market, and each vendor, what we can call a domain team, is responsible for their own sales, what we call a data. So they have to clear labeling. The clear labeling will means metadata, and the direct sale, what we will call a data access. So I will take this example to try to show you what is a data mesh. So in contrast, we have also a supermarket that centralize all product beyond one checkout. So if you can see the picture and if you can see my screen, you can understand that a data mesh resembles the market model. So each vendor, I mean a teams, own the data, ensure its high quality, and make it easily discoverable. So we have the owner of the data. We need also to put quality on the data, and the data should be discoverable, and all this topic should be made easily. That's why we talk about a data mesh. So a data mesh, uh, we can just see it as a paradigm, as a way to consider that data is a product. So a product should be bring to the customer, the final customer. That's why I make the comparison between a market data mesh and a super centralized data. So the former market will result to the data mesh. So we have some principle when we talk about data mesh. It depends to literature. We have sometime five, sometime seven. Yes, but in my case, I have just select four of what I consider the most important. I will also take a real life example to try to make you understand. So, we can consider a large retail chain that may have a separate data product. So, teams for online sales, in-store sales, and maybe a customer services. Uh, each team ensures its data is clean, labeled, served, so the analytics teams or business user across the company can easily query and combine data without waiting on a central teams. So if you see my picture in how I can say, we have a domain ownership, we have data as a product, we have a self data platform, we have a federated computational governance. All these principles are that, in my perspective, define the most the data mesh. It's important to understand all the principles because when we will to implement our data mesh architecture, we need to ensure that we are aligned with this four principle. So after the principle, we can now talk about the problem data mesh solve. I think based on the example I have present in the previous slide, you can have some idea. We have traditional challenge. I will not go deep in the subject. We have data silos. We have a central bottleneck. We have a scalability and ownership problem when we deal with data. And data mesh will bring some solutions. When I say solution, I mean reduce central bottleneck, improve data quality, and will also bring more contextual data, and it will enable faster time to market. So if I have to talk to data silo, in many enterprises, each department builds its own data pipeline and store data separately, resulting in a fragmenting hard to integrate silo. So if I have to take about central bottleneck, a central data teams, for instance, a data warehouse teams, become a bottleneck when they have to understand every business domain logic and data need showing data analytic. So one team cannot have all the knowledge that is necessary to understand the data, so it can bring quality to this data. So this cause a central, what we call a central bottleneck. We have also a scalability and ownership issue. What I can say, as a data volume and complexity grow on teams, as the data volume and complexity grow, one team cannot effectively handle all data ingestion or transformation and quality check because we will need more time and we need to make some automation and sometimes even if we have put automation, we need to a kind of a human checking activity. So it's not possible if we have a very a huge volume of data and we have many complexity when the complexity is grow. So how data mesh can help? The first point will be to reduce central bottleneck. For instance, by empowering domain teams to own their data and request for a new report no longer queued beyond a central backlog. The second point will be to improve data quality and context. For instance, domain team best understand their data and can enforce correctness and enrich metadata as SLAs. And the second point can be enable faster time to market because team can iterate on data product independently, leading to quicker insight. I will take a day-to-day example to make you understand. Imagine baking cookie in a large bakery. Instead of one person overseeing every cookie recipe, what we can call a central team, each baker, what we can call a domain team, is responsible for a particular variety, example, chocolate chips or oatmeal. So each baker ensures the cookie meet quality standard, are well labeled and available on time. We scale production and ensure responsibility and expertise remain with the baker who know that cookie the best. That's why it's very important to apply all the what we can call the four principles we will talk in the previous slide. So overview of Dynamic 365 Sales and Microsoft Fabric. In this second part, we will talk, as I say, about these two products. We have a Microsoft Dynamic 365. It's the Microsoft CRM solution that is part of Dynamic 365 customer engagement. The solution is leveraged on a central database called Dataverse. And yeah, it will help to it will bring automation and enhance the sale process. So it has some capability. For example, lead and opportunity management, sales insight and AI, and pipeline visualization. So it will manage all the sale process admin, the interaction with the lead, the conversion of the lead in a customer, I mean a contact of an account. It will also help to make generate an opportunity. We will have to present our product to our customer, and we will manage all the activity with this customer. So at the end, the customer can buy our product. So the CRM is a solution. It's a solution that will help you to track, sell leads, qualify them, and convert them into an opportunity. And the last step of opportunity is to convert an opportunity to a deal. That means customer buy our solution. So a CRM is a tool that help to help sell people to be more efficient when they do their work in a daily basis. So we have a lot of automation. That's why that's the purpose of a CRM. Even if it's a Microsoft CRM, any CRM, the basis remain the same. Help sell people to sell better, if I can say. So if I have to take an analogy with a day-to-day example, think of Dynamic 365 Sale as a smart address book plus a to-do list. So instead of scribbling note about a customer in spreadsheet, Dynamic 365 Sales automatically track when you last emailed a prospect, remind you of follow-ups, and show, sorry, which deal need to, yeah, which deal need attention to close by the month. So it's a kind of assistant, if I can say. So I can say it's a big copilot before the copilot area for customer people. So let's continue with Dynamic 365. To manage all this process, we have in the background a database. In this database is Microsoft Dataverse. In Dataverse, we have a lot of table, but in Dynamic 365 vocabulary or jargon, we say entities. So we have many entities. The most important entity are accounts, represent a customer or a company. We have a contact. It's a person that belongs to a company. It depends if you are a business to business, in a business to consumer perspective. Account can be a customer, a contact can be a customer. It depends. We have also a lead. A lead, it's just a potential customer, someone or a company which can be interested by our product, so we can make a deal with this company. That is valid. We have also opportunity. It's just to qualify sale deal with estimated revenue. It's help the management to have a kind of, how I can say, estimation of the revenue for the month, for the year, and for the upcoming day, if I can say. We have also activity. I think activity is also a very important entities because it will be the umbrella term that will be regroup, task, email, call, log, again, contact, and opportunity. So all the interaction with our customer during the sale process will be recorded using the activity. We have different type of activity. We have also data relationships because we are in a database. All these entities or all these tables are linked between them. We have so-called and relationships. So for example, lead and opportunity management, we track sale leads, qualify them, and convert them into opportunity. We have a sale insight and the AI that will provide some insight that will be helpful for sale people to sell better, if I can say. But we have also some pipeline visualization that can help to visualize what are the steps in my sale process. So it will give us a kind of insight that will tell us if we have to act, if we have to change our process, if we have to call someone. So the most important, it's what we need to do is just to sell. So the process, the data are one goal: make sell to sell product better using automation, AI, and in a better with a better solution. So why this matter for data mesh? Because we are talking about data mesh. I can say that each of these entity can be seen as a part of a cell domain because we are in a CRM. If you have take an example of an ERP, for example, maybe it will not be a sale domain, maybe it will be a finance domain, maybe another domain. Yeah. So in our case, we will consider we are in a CRM context. So all this entity will be or can be seen as part of a sales domain. The sales domain teams own, cleans, and curates data. For instance, they will ensuring contact information is accurate. They will also ensure that opportunity stage are standardized before exposing is at a data product. So uh, we meet one of the principle we have talked previously when we say data should be close to people that know this data better. In our case, we are in a sales context, and people that know data that is related to sales, it's a sales team. So sales team should be responsible for ensuring the quality of the data. That's why it's very important to have this idea in our mind when we are planning to use a data mesh architecture in the context of Dynamic 365 sales, I mean, in a CRM. So sales teams will be the owner of the data. It can be different if we have another solution, for example. So, overview of Dynamic 365 Sales Microsoft. We have talked about account, contact, opportunity, and key capability. A contact belongs to, yes, an account. It's just another way to present the previous slide. So we'll go in the next. Now we want to talk about Dynamic 365 Sales for Microsoft Fabric. Uh, to say things in a simple way is just a data platform. So Data Factory, it's a low-code and visual data integration and ETL connecting sources to one lake. One lake, it's a kind of a central data base, if I can say. Sometimes the literature say we have to consider one lake as a kind of one drive because you can put many kind of data in the same place and this data can be shared in all the organization. So we will also have data engineering using, for example, Spark-based environment for complex transformation. We will also have a data warehouse, so we can use SQL-based warehousing on top of one lake in the context of Delta Lake. We will also be able to use Power BI for integrated reporting over one lake and data warehouse. So Microsoft Fabric, it's a data platform. It's a Microsoft data platform. In our case, we will leverage on this data platform to implement our data mesh architecture because we need to have a kind of infrastructure that will help us to put everything that it's required to bring data to other people. Because as I say, data it's a product and a product need to meet its final client. The final client it's another business unit in our company that can need the data coming from our CRM. We cannot give them access to the CRM directly because they will need a license and it will have a cost, if I can say. So the more simple, easy is to help them access the data securely in a simple way, and the data platform is a good place to implement this kind of architecture. So, a data platform to be able to implement a data architecture should allow for how can I say four aspects. The first one, it should be a shared service platform because we will give people access to the data. They should be able to access this data without asking any kind of permission, because it's like in a shop, you go to take your product. You don't need a vendor or someone to help you. Sometimes it can be good to have a help, but if you have all the information, you can go directly to take your project. So it will be a shared sales platform. It will also be a domain-oriented lakehouse. When I say lakehouse, it's just, how I can say, a small database where we put data in a simple way, taking in account a specialization or a domain, if I can say simply. It will also be, we need also to have a federated governance. That means even if we are working in a data platform, our data are taken from CRM. In CRM, we have some governance, we have some security that was configured at the deployment of the system. I mean, no everyone are access to all the data, because we have some rule, we have some group or teams, if I can say. So we need to ensure that this security is also take the same route with our data. So the security we are put in a CRM should also be applied in the data platform. And the last point, as we say, the data should be discoverable. So we need to make each final customer, if I can say, able to find the data he's looking for, because we will have some, what I can say, some semantic model or data dictionary, so we can look up our data and to find the data we are looking for, so we can use it. So now it's the time of our live demo. I hope you have enough time, and we have three steps. What we will do is just to configure all the platform. I didn't do anything. I hope everything will work as I expected. So let's start. We have some prerequisites. First one is to be, of course, a system admin, so we can make some change in Dynamic 365 sales. We need also to have some fabric role, a workspace admin or member, so we can create like a house and to add a pipeline. We need also to have a license. For the demo, I just take a trial version of Microsoft Fabric and also Dynamic 365 Sales. So if you guys want to make the same demo, you can do it by yourself, because it's totally free. We have to set some configuration. We'll do it together. And after that, we need to set up our workspace. So let's start. I don't know if you have any questions. Even if no, we can go to our demo.
Yeah, we can go.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, at the same time, Elkan. Yeah,
Yeah,
we can continue with the demo, Rodrigo. Sorry.
go ahead,
Okay.
Rodrigo. All good. So
Yeah.
we are looking for your demo, and we are excited about that. And keep in mind, for everyone, it's a live demo, so expect some roller coaster. So all back to you, Rodrigo.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, now. I think you don't see my screen. I need to share the right screen. Just one second. Okay.
Is it all good?
Not yet. I will change
Yeah.
the screen. Now I think it should be okay.
I think now it's time, Rodrigo, to say sorry on my French, and then you can share the screen.
No, you just
Now
say
it's the
excuse my
moment.
French.
Now
No
it's,
stories.
yes,
Just excuse my French.
indeed, it was sorry.
Yeah,
Indeed,
yeah.
excuse me.
So sorry, guy. As you can see, my English is not good. I still
No.
learn
No, no,
English.
no, no,
Maybe.
no excuses, man. Your English is good, so please go
Okay.
ahead. So we are sharing your
Yeah.
screen. Good to go.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, even if I don't trust you. So what we have to do is to go to in Fabric. Yes. No. The first things we have to do is to check we have all the rule because I have all the role because I'm the one we have implement this platform. I think I have a global admin, I have a system admin, so there's not. I think I made all the prerequisites. So I will go through the configuration of Fabric to create what Fabric to after prerequisite. Yeah, open. Okay. Oh, I think I forget something. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Yeah. Do you still see my screen?
Yes, all good. We see your screen. It's there. Yep.
Okay. So I will go to Fabric to create a pipeline. So where is Fabric? Here. We start creating a new workbook, or we call it workspace. I will call it workspace demo. Okay. I need to select a capacity. Yeah. So I will add a new pipeline. Okay. I think I have a problem with my demo. Just 1 second. Try again. No, I think it's okay. Copy data. No. Oh. Oh, my apologies. I think my demo environment is not so fine. We try again. Uh, okay, let's try to change the capacity. No. Okay. What I can do before it's work, I can show you what I have prepared.
Sure, sure. Go ahead, Rodrigo. Like we know that making live demo on a platform, there's a lot of external dependencies. You can show what you were trying to accomplish, and then if you
Yeah.
want later on, you can even drop a link into this YouTube channel, where we are going to post this, so that you can put a demo that let's say is not going to get affected by the platform or anything else. So no pressure here. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So I will show what I was looking to implement. Just 1 second. Yeah, I think now it's okay. Do you see my Word documents?
The Word document? No, we still see the fabric, Rodrigo.
Okay, we change what I'm
Maybe you
sharing.
can reshare. Yeah. On such a complex
Do you see?
environment and systems, the demo is always complex, to be honest.
Yeah. So do you see my screen or not yet?
Now, yes. Now, yes, it's here.
Yeah. So Uh, as I can say, the first time we need to check some prerequisites to check if I have the good roles in Dynamic 365, also in Fabrics. And I need also to check if I have a required license. For my case, I use a demo platform, so I don't need a really license. And we need also to make some configuration for that. We have to use this URL. For those who don't know, we have to go in Power Platform in the make environment, and you can copy this URL. And this URL will be used in Fabric when we will have to create our data pipeline. The data pipeline, it's like a tool or an activity that will help us to connect to CRM, and in CRM we get all the data we need, and all this data will be put in our table in a dedicated workplace, and this workspace will be linked with what we call a domain. A domain, it's like a container where we can add some security rule, for example, to have a dedicated domain for sale, a dedicated domain for marketing. So we will make a kind of segregation, a kind of separation with the responsibility in perspective. So we will use a domain for that. So we will define a domain in our fabric. We will also add a workspace. So a workspace will be linked to a domain for security and governance, and we will deploy a database in our domain, and the pipeline will go to take data in CRM and to put this data in Microsoft Fabric in our database. So we have to open that fabric and go to our cell mesh workspace. It's the workspace was planning to create a new pipeline. And yes, we have to make some authentication. We have to use OAuth and use our user account, just because they don't know, but you have some other option for the authentication. We can use an application an app registration, and can also use a key or yes. So we have to select entities. As I say, in Dynamic 365, each tab is considered as an entity most of the time. So we need to to select what entity or what data we need to bring in our data platform, so people can access to this workspace to access to this data, and they can use it as they want. We can maybe make a dashboard. We can make some analytic using AI. Yes, or maybe you can just take this data to integrate this data in a target system, I mean, in an external system. So it's just a way to share data with respect of the governance and security. So this is why I want to present you guys, but sorry for the demo. Maybe I will record it and share it on LinkedIn or YouTube, I don't know. Yeah. So thank you for your attention.
Really nice scenario, first of all. And to be honest, in such a complex environment, usually the demo can be quite tricky because Fabric and Dynamics 365 sales, basically, they're quite big and, how to say, enterprise solutions, let's call it like that, CRMs and big ones and all that stuff. But it rings the bell immediately to ask you the first question. What is better, Dynamics 365 or Fabric?
Oh, it depends. Both solutions don't play the same rule.
Yeah,
I like both, if I can say. Fabric for me, if I take, I'm a specialist in enterprise solution and a specialist in
yeah,
Fabric, but nowadays I use any I can say any excuse to talk about Fabric.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
last week I was talking about cooking, but I make a comparison with the Fabric. I consider, for example, data it's like a meal. We need to prepare data, we need to select our data, we need to make it in an ON and so on. Yeah, I like to talk with the Fabric. I like Dynamic 365 solutions. So for me, I will say both.
Yeah, if I may ask from another perspective, maybe Rodrigo has experience in this field, let's call it like that. Do you think more complex for work is the dynamics or the fabric, or which one it's easier to handle, if I may call it like that, when it's come? Because dynamics can consist a lot of data, but fabric also now is how it's called, taking the big wave, if I may call it like that, and a lot of customers are talking about fabric and all of that. In your experience, if I may ask, which one is more complex or more easier to handle more data? Let's call it like that.
I think the learning curve for Fabric will be more short, will be more easy because it's more technical tools or platform, I can say. Even if it's still technical platform, you have an aspect of no code, low code. You have just to push something. You have your pipeline design without know anything. I'm not, to be honest, I'm not. I can say an old data specialist, but I try to go to data because I think things become very simple, and for me it was a very good time. Fabric is not the same platform. Many of the data platform work in the same way. Now you don't need to have a large experience to start working on the solutions.
Oh, that's nice to hear. I'm asking this because, for example, a couple of years ago, I was working a little bit Dynamics Finance and Operations, and I
Mhm.
have exploring these Dynamics Sales, and it's so complex, mate. I must be honest
Yeah.
with you. For example, now looking how Fabric looks, you click here, go there.
Mhm.
Dynamics, first of all, was taking a little bit more time, in my opinion, and basically
Yeah.
it was more complex to figure out which table, where is the
Yeah.
ID, where I
Yeah.
should find this, the configuration. On that sense, that's why I ask also that question, because now I saw the same what you said. Basically, Fabric
Mm.
is really taking a big wave of customers and people that are starting to learn. Already, a lot of people are learning and doing stuff. So yeah, it was nice to see all of that. But as you said, I was really looking forward for the demo for next time, maybe, or
Yeah. Sure.
later if you can record in some time, so you can share with us, and then we can publish it here without any problem.
Yeah. Sure.
Nice.
And Rodrigo, because you are, professional in this field, this dynamics was is something that I'm not, I'm very little aware. Let's say like this. I'm not going saying I never heard the name. That would be
You
insult.
need to go
But
to Dynamics.
but I know a little bit about that. So that's why the question comes is that because Fabric came right and kind of made this thing simple, as you know, Martin also mentioned. So would you say that this movement of Fabric and kind of redesign from Microsoft side to make it low code, kind of easily accessible, or more in line with the end user experience, will drive more adoption and more kind of use from the end users to bring them into their own daily workloads and their daily workflows. What's your experience from that perspective? Because overall data fabric and everything is has been like last few years, right? Maybe at most
Mhm.
2 years that's here. So what was your experience so far in terms of how the customers are using that adoption and stuff like that?
En fait, sorry, I was speaking in French.
That's
Yes.
fine. Okay. We
Yeah,
have
I
AI
think
translate, right? So go ahead. Yeah.
I think most of the time, customer when we discover Fabric in the first time, they are very happy because the first thing they see is very simple. As I said, the learning curve is very reduced, if I can say. And
Yes.
it's something we can say it's I don't know if we can say it in English. It's an intuitive tool. You don't need to how I can say to think a lot. You know, I have to do that. I have to do that. I will have the same result. Another thing we have also I can say some AI in Fabric, so
Mhm.
we can use a natural language to create something. It's very useful. One thing I see, I think, Martin, because you work on Dynamic 365 Finance, for example, most of the time when we have a project, we have to develop or to implement an integration layer.
Aha.
And most
Okay.
of it to integrate Dynamic 365 solution, maybe CRM, ERP with other
Yeah.
solution to put an integration layer in a complex architecture. But
Teacher.
most of the time, the data teams are not are too late in the project I can say plan if I can say. So now you
Yeah.
can come say, oh, I will not wait for the data teams. I can use Fabric to make my integration layer. And when the data platform or the data team will be finish the project, I will stop my Fabric and to make the real integration. So it's like a quick win when we have some project we need to integrate in many systems. You don't need to be a data specialist using Fabric. You can do it in less time. So we can the time to market. It's very if I can say.
Yeah. Clear. Clear. So between those basically fields, you need to integrate basically a layer in between,
Yeah.
and then basically
Yeah.
the job can be done. Okay. Okay.
And that brings a question, right? Because you say that it's easier for new people to start to learn that and kind of get idea. And because I'm one of those kind of newcomers, right? Because I know very little about that. So what would be your recommendation to the people who are going to watch your session later on in our YouTube channel, where they can get started? What are the good tips? And I believe because it's easy to start, but when you have something easy to start, there's also a lot of gotcha, so to speak, right? A lot of
Yeah.
traps where you can go wrong with easy start. So from that perspective, if you can share that and maybe share the links, if you have a a slide about that, a
Mhm.
PowerPoint, you can also share that with the user so they can get the screenshot. If not, that's okay. You can just put the links in the chat. We'll share with the users. But that would be great to learn about. Back to you.
Yeah, I think there are two things. The first is to start with a trial version of Fabric. It's totally free. You have, I think, 15 days. It's a lot to learn Fabric. And what I advise to my colleague is also to take to leverage on Microsoft learning path on Fabric, so you can go step by step playing all the demo, playing all the stuff in your environment. And at the end, I think you will have to do everything that can be done in this platform. So I think it's anyone can develop, I can say, a knowledge just by following the Microsoft learning path on Microsoft. There are two certification. If you follow these two certification, for sure you will get your certification because you have all the tool you need to make demo, to make everything to be ready for the certification. At least you will have a new knowledge, if I can say, a new expertise.
Okay.
And you spoke about certification. So which certification would be a good start for people who are trying to learn it?
It depends. I will say the 700 or the 600. It depends, but I will consider the 700 because I think it's very easy.
So
Most of
it's
the time, when I advise people to start by the certification, they have succeed to the certification. So definitely, I will say the 700 700 certification.
yes. So just to say that, so basically, Rodrigo referring to DP 700.
Yeah,
As
yeah. Sorry,
microcertified trainers, we kind of know it's a fabric data engineer associate one.
yeah.
And thank you for bringing that. I'd never took that course or I teach that one yet. So Martin, what from your experience, what was your take on that, sir? Did you have any experience with that?
I started learning 6 months ago, and that
Okay,
is my goal for 2025. Basically, I already challenged myself for a fabric exam, basically,
all
on
right,
the end of August.
mm-hmm.
Basically, I scheduled the exam already.
Cool.
I'm exploring. I
Good.
was working a lot with the
Good point.
QQL, basically
Yeah,
the Custo language. So I connect the dot because Custo I already knew. So that's how I was exploring and going deep dive in the Fabric. It's quite interesting. I think it will be. I'm calling future system like Dynamics in the past as a big CRM.
Mhm.
I
right.
think Fabric will be the next big
Yeah.
one. Let's call it like that. That will be used mostly from the corporations. So let's see. I will share on LinkedIn in almost end
So
of August if I pass the exam.
I will bring the champagne if you want.
Yeah.
let's get a word from here from from Martin. So once you pass it or whatever happens doesn't matter. It's effort, right? That's what
Yeah.
counts the most.
True.
You need to have another session here for DP 700 exam. What worked, what didn't
Yeah.
work, then how it went.
Yeah.
Okay, of
Yeah.
course we are not going to share any questions here. It's NDA,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we are going to help people to get ready for that. Hopefully,
Indeed,
yes.
indeed, it's quite. I fully agree, and with what Rodrigo shared,
Hmm.
for example, it's quite complex. It takes some time to get into that mood because it's everything in one place, and you need to really focus where you're going. It's not
Mm.
like a Google Maps; you go left or right, so somebody
Yeah.
is navigating you. Here,
Yes.
you need to focus yourself and really, focus and
Yeah.
do the stuff
and
within the
and
system.
and Rodrigo, because you worked with this like first time, not first time, maybe 3 years ago when Azure Data Factory, not Azure Data Factory. Yeah, it's Azure Data Factory was
Yeah. As a
introduced for
factor.
Yeah,
transformation, right? So it's basically was a new thing in the cloud where if you want to do the data transformation, which you used to do on your MS SQL SSDS, right?
Mhm.
That tool. So that was a new, and there was like course limitations. Something worked, something didn't work in the beginning, but over time it became really the go-to for data transformations in Azure environment. So from that perspective, do you see some similarities? How this dynamics and everything is moving to the data fabric and how it's designed to help the users, or what's your what's your impression so far?
I think Microsoft has put a lot of effort to make things work. You can access in your on-prem data using Fabric. You can
Yeah,
access to many system using Fabric. There are a lot of connector to help you access to this data. You can simply use OAuth API to access your data. I think everything is open. We have not a problem we face using, for example, the legacy of the old system, if I can say. Now,
nice.
even if it's a cloud solution, it can help you to access any of data you want. You can make some planification to bring your data in a frequency you want. You can select your data. Yes, don't I don't find any issue during my learning curve, if I can say, and during all my projects. I think the most simple project I have worked since I was born, it's a Microsoft Fabric. Everything seems to be simple, but
Yes.
sometimes we can have some issue. I know one of my colleagues called me one day. He said, "Oh, I don't see my workspace. Workspace is this
It's
container with
gone where it is. Yeah,
yeah.
can't find it.
And can you help me? I say, oh, I cannot help. I can help not help you because I don't see anything. Just call Microsoft. And the issue was he was changing the language of its browser, and
Hmm.
it's blocked because maybe we have some temp file, this kind of thing, and everything wasn't working. So we have just switch the language, and everything works fine. So you
Right.
can have this issue, but it's I can say normal because it's a new project.
Right.
Sometimes you have to face some issue, but don't be blocked. It's not your fault. Just call Microsoft. I think they have very reactive when you call them for this project because they know it's a new product.
Okay. Can our users also, get in contact with you if they run into any issues? Not that you are going to be Microsoft, support for them, but at least you can share where they need to check the things, right? To make it work.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And that's kind of great session. I know that we are coming to the end of our 1 hour session. Before finalizing this great session, Rodrigo, where our users, Cloud Launch and Learn audience, can find you if they have any questions or they want to get connected with you?
They can find me on LinkedIn. I respond to all the requests I receive in LinkedIn. And
Mhm.
if they come in Paris, in next Monday, we have a huge session, Workspace Paris, in the 10 and 11. So you can follow us on online. I think it will be, put online. And so, yeah, but I'm very active on LinkedIn, so you can follow me on LinkedIn or on X or, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I put your LinkedIn profile there in the chat. So anyone wants to get connected with Rodrigo, please do so. Yeah, I think we are already connected. Yeah, so it's awesome. Thank you for that advice. And is there any blog or something where you share this, kind of information that you learn or you kind of troubleshoot? Is there any
In
place you would
LinkedIn,
advise? Yeah,
in LinkedIn, most of the time,
LinkedIn.
what I do when I work on a project, when I discover something, I
Mhm.
try to share it with. So yeah, I try to be active to publishing article in LinkedIn when I find something can be interesting for other people working on a project. Now, for example, I apply to work an article, a new article on. Greenfield,
Hmm.
Bluefield, and Brownfield, because
Yes.
many people talk about this concept, but I realize most of the time they don't know what are behind this concept. This concept is not so easy what we can say, but maybe it's not subject we can talk it later in another session.
Yes. Okay, Martin, back to you before we finalize. Anything that you want to say before we finalize our session today?
Yeah, well, the only thing that I have to say is to thank you to Rodrigo to the wonderful session. I really understand a little bit and how complicated it is for you guys from the data side. I must be honest. I understand now a little bit more because I never think about that these two things can be connected. That's for me the first bit, but it's more a little bit more clear, or I understand what you're trying to achieve and all this stuff. So in a summary, I would like to say thank you, a big thank you, Rodrigo. Thanks for the people that are watching live and the people that will watch later, of course.
Yeah,
And yeah, thank you, Elcom, for the support, I would say.
anytime.
And yeah, for all the others and both of you guys, have a nice evening, rest of the day. And yeah, see you on the next basically session.
Thank you, Rodrigo.
Ciao,
Thank you, everyone, for watching and staying with us. See you all next week.
au
Bye.
revoir, à bientôt.